Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, feeling like the quiet darkness around you is just too quiet? Maybe the house feels emptier than it used to, or the hours between sunset and sunrise stretch on a little longer than they once did. You're not alone. In fact, so many of us, especially as we get a little older, find those nighttime hours can sometimes feel lonely, even isolating. But here's the good news. The secret to feeling happier and more connected might just be closer than you think. It starts with something we all do every single night: sleep. Now, I know what you might be thinking: sleep? Really? But hear me out. When we don't sleep well, it's not just our energy that suffers the next day. Poor sleep can leave us feeling foggy, irritable, and yes, even lonelier. It's like a ripple effect. But when we prioritize rest, something magical happens. We wake up feeling clearer, lighter, and more open to the people and moments that bring us joy. So today, let's talk about how a few simple changes to your evenings can help you sleep better, feel brighter, and reconnect with the world around you. Let's start with something you've probably heard before, but might not realize is so important: creating a calming bedtime routine. Now, I'm not talking about anything complicated or time-consuming. This isn't about strict rules or perfection. It's about giving your body and mind gentle signals that it's time to unwind. Think of it like dimming the lights slowly instead of flipping a switch off all at once. Maybe you already have a little ritual without even realizing it. That cup of herbal tea you sip while watching the evening news? That's a start. But let's build on that. Try setting aside the last 30 minutes before bed for activities that soothe you. Maybe it's reading a chapter of a book you love, nothing too suspenseful though, or listening to soft music that brings back happy memories. One of my friends swears by jotting down 3 small things she's grateful for each night in a little notebook. It helps her drift off with a lighter heart. And here's a tip you might not expect. Try to keep your evenings screen-free. I know, those tablets and TVs are tempting, but that blue light they emit, it tricks our brains into thinking it's still daytime, making it harder to fall asleep. If you do want to watch something, try doing it earlier in the evening, or use a setting on your device that reduces blue light after sunset. Small tweaks, big results. Now, let's talk about your sleep environment. When was the last time you really thought about your bedroom? Is it a sanctuary? Or is it cluttered with unfinished projects, buzzing gadgets, or that stack of laundry you've been meaning to fold? Our surroundings play a huge role in how relaxed we feel. Start with the basics: your mattress. If it's older than a decade, it might be time for a new one, or at least a supportive mattress topper. You don't need to break the bank. Even a plush pillow or cozy blanket can make a world of difference. Next, think about light and sound. Blackout curtains can work wonders if street lights or early morning sun tend to wake you up. And if silence feels too quiet, maybe even a little lonely, consider a white noise machine or a small fan. The steady hum can feel comforting, like a gentle lullaby. Temperature matters too. Most of us sleep best in a slightly cool room, so try lowering the thermostat a degree or 2 before bed. Now, I want you to imagine this. You've had a restful night's sleep. You wake up feeling refreshed, maybe even eager to call a friend or join that morning gardening club you've been curious about. That's the power of sleep. It doesn't just restore your body. It opens the door to connection. And guess what? We've only just begun. There's so much more to explore, like how the little choices you make during the day can set you up for better sleep at night, or how reconnecting with old hobbies might just be the key to feeling less alone. But we'll save that for our next chat. Until then, why not try one small change tonight? Maybe swap out that late night show for a few pages of a book, or treat yourself to a new set of soft sheets. Remember, this isn't about doing everything at once. It's about taking one step toward a brighter, more connected tomorrow. Sweet dreams, my friend. You know, it's funny. Sometimes the things we do during the day have just as much impact on our nights as what we do right before bed. Think about it. When you you spend the day feeling sluggish or out of sorts, it's harder to wind down in the evening, isn't it? It's like trying to calm a storm that's been brewing all afternoon. But what if I told you that a few simple tweaks to your daytime routine could set the stage for deeper, more restorative sleep, and maybe even help you feel a little less alone along the way? Let's start with sunlight. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a marathon runner or spend hours outdoors, though a leisurely walk never hurt anybody. But here's the thing. Our bodies crave natural light. It's how our internal clock, our circadian rhythm, knows when to feel alert and when to feel sleepy. So, try to get outside for even 10 or 15 minutes in the morning. Sit on the porch with your coffee, tend to your bird feeder, or just stand by an open window and let the sun kiss your face. That morning light tells your brain, hey, it's time to start the day. And come evening, your body will recognize the shift to darkness more easily, making it simpler to drift off. Now, here's a little secret. Movement matters too. And no, I don't mean running laps or lifting weights, unless that's your thing. Gentle movement, like stretching, gardening, or even folding laundry while swaying to your favorite song, can work wonders. It's not about burning calories. It's about reminding your body it's alive. When we move, we release tension, boost our mood, and yes, wear ourselves out just enough to sleep soundly. One of my neighbors, Martha, started doing 5 minutes of gentle chair yoga every afternoon. She says it's become her reset button, and for the first time in years, she's sleeping through the night. But let's talk about something many of us love a little too much, the afternoon nap. Now, I'm not here to shame anyone. Naps can be glorious. But if you're struggling to fall asleep at night, that hour-long snooze on the couch might be working against you. Try keeping naps short, 20 to 30 minutes max, and aim to take them earlier in the day, before 3 p.m. That way, you'll still get the rest you need without throwing off your nighttime rhythm. And if you do wake up from a nap feeling groggy, try splashing a little cool water on your face or stepping outside for a breath of fresh air. It's like hitting a refresh button for your senses. Now, let's shift gears for a moment. Have you ever noticed how loneliness can creep in when the sun goes down? Maybe the house feels too still, or the quiet makes you miss conversations you used to have. Here's the thing. Sleep and connection are deeply intertwined. When we're well rested, we're more likely to reach out, to say yes to that lunch invite, or to pick up the phone and call a grandchild. But when we're tired, it's easier to withdraw. So, let's tackle that cycle head on. One of the best ways to feel less lonely is to reconnect with what lights you up inside. And I don't just mean hobbies, though those are important too. Think about the activities that used to make you lose track of time. Maybe it's knitting, painting, or tinkering in the garage. Or perhaps it's something you've always wanted to try, like joining a community choir or taking a cooking class. When we engage in things that bring us joy, we send a powerful message to our brains. Life is still full of possibility, and that sense of purpose can carry us through the night with a little more peace. But here's the kicker. You don't have to do it alone. Reach out to someone who shares your interests. Invite a friend over for a puzzle night, or ask your neighbor if they'd like to join you for a morning stroll. Even small interactions, like chatting with the cashier at the grocery store or waving to the mail carrier, can weave threads of connection into your day. And those threads, they become a safety net, reminding you that you're part of a bigger world, even when the night feels long. Of course, none of this happens overnight. It's like tending a garden. You plant the seeds, water them patiently, and trust that they'll bloom in time. Maybe tonight, you'll still have moments where the quiet feels heavy. But with each small step, a sunlit morning, a shared laugh, a restful nap, you're building a foundation. A foundation that says, I matter. My rest matters. My joy matters. And from that place, sleep becomes more than just closing your eyes. It becomes an act of kindness to yourself. Now, imagine pairing these daytime habits with a few thoughtful changes to your evening meals and mindset, because what you eat and how you eat, can be a game changer for both your sleep and your sense of connection. But let's save that for next time. For now, why not pick one thing to try today? Maybe open the curtains wide with your morning coffee, or dig out that old watercolor set gathering dust in the closet. Remember, this isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about rediscovering the rhythms that make life feel rich, even after dark. Until we chat again, keep shining, one small, sunlit step at a time. There's something special about the hour before dinner, isn't there? That quiet time when the day starts to slow, and we begin to think about nourishing ourselves, not just with food, but with moments that feed our hearts. And that's exactly where we'll pick up today. How the choices we make at the dinner table, and in our minds, can transform not just our sleep, but the way we experience those sometimes lonely evening hours. Let's start with something we all love, a good meal. Now, I'm not here to lecture you about what to eat. Life's too short for that. But here's a gentle truth. When and how you eat in the evening can be a quiet gift to your sleep. Ever notice how a heavy meal right before bed leaves you tossing and turning? That's your body working overtime to digest instead of settling into rest. Try having your largest meal earlier in the day and keep supper light. A warm bowl of soup, a slice of avocado toast, or a small portion of grilled chicken with steamed veggies. These are all easy on the stomach and kind to your sleep cycle. And here's a tip you might not expect. Share the meal if you can. Now, I know that's not always possible, but even if you're eating alone, imagine setting the table for someone you love. Light a candle, play a little music, or call a friend while you eat. Food shared, even across a phone line, tastes better, doesn't it? It turns a routine moment into a connection, and that sense of closeness can linger long after the dishes are done. Now, let's talk about what's in that meal. Foods rich in magnesium, like leafy greens, nuts, or a bit of dark chocolate, can help relax your muscles and calm your mind. And tart cherry juice, it's not just for grandkids. It's packed with natural melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate sleep. But here's the real key, hydration. Sipping water throughout the day keeps everything in your body humming smoothly. But try to ease off liquids an hour or two before bed. That way, you're less likely to wake up for those pesky bathroom trips that interrupt your rest. But here's something just as important as what's on your plate, what's on your mind. Ever lie in bed replaying a conversation from 20 years ago, or worrying about tomorrow's to-do list? Oh, I've been there. Those thoughts can spiral faster than a squirrel on a treadmill. So let's give your mind a gentler place to land. Try this. Keep a worry notebook by your bed. If anxious thoughts pop up, jot them down and promise yourself you'll handle them in the morning. It's like telling your brain, I've got this, just not right now. And here's a practice I've come to love, gratitude. Not the forced, cheery kind, but the simple act of noticing. Maybe it's the way the moonlight spills across your floor, or the memory of your granddaughter's laugh earlier that day. Take 10 seconds before you close your eyes to name one thing that felt good. It could be as small as the warmth of your sheets or the smell of rain through an open window. This isn't about ignoring life's harder moments. It's about balancing the scales, reminding yourself that joy still exists, even in the quietest corners of your night. Now, let's circle back to where we began, connection. Because sleep isn't just a solo act. When you're well rested, you're more likely to say yes to that coffee date, to laugh louder, to reach out when you need a hand. And when you're connected, you're less likely to lie awake feeling alone. It's a beautiful cycle, isn't it? So if there's one thing I want you to take away today, it's this. You deserve both rest and connection. They're not opposites, they're partners. Think of everything we've talked about, the calming routines, the sunlit mornings, the shared meals, the gentle shifts in mindset, as threads in a quilt. Alone, each one is just a scrap of fabric, but woven together, they become something that keeps you warm, night after night. So tonight, as you tuck yourself in, I hope you'll remember this. You're not just chasing sleep. You're nurturing a life that feels rich, even in the stillness. A life where rest becomes the foundation for joy, and where joy makes rest feel deeper. And if you ever doubt that, think of all the others out there, maybe even someone watching this right now, who are learning to stitch their own quilts of comfort, one small step at a time. I'd love to hear how it's going for you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one small change you've tried, or one moment of connection that's made your nights a little brighter? Your story might be the exact encouragement someone else needs. And if you found this helpful, pass it along to a friend or hit that like button. It truly makes a difference. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, remember, however dark the night feels, dawn is always on its way. And you, my friend, are worth every sunrise. Here's to nights filled with peace, mornings brimming with light, and all the small, beautiful steps in between.